Marketing presents Co-Found Hers, your inside line to the need to know, the who to know, and the how the hell do we do it all. Now, here are your hosts, Lisa Lidbag and Angela Sandler.
Morning. Hey.
Hello, St. Louis and beyond.
Beyond.
I need to stop saying just St. Louis.
I know.
Because we are beyond.
It is beyond.
We are beyond St. Louis.
It is beyond St. Louis.
So, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Really good. Really good. It's been a bit of a week, but done, almost home stretch.
Well, you have a big event tomorrow.
I do have a big event. Yes.
Do you want to share a little bit about it?
Sure. So I am co-chairing with a good friend of mine. I'm co-chairing the Autism Speaks Gala this year.
Awesome.
So we have over 20 chefs coming. We've got Brody Herman is going to be one of our speakers, one of our producers, which is awesome. So we're really, the theme of this year is reaching full potential. So it's been a full court press to get everybody to kind of agree to my theme of really highlighting the accomplishments rather than the challenges.
Oh, I love that.
We all know that there's challenges. There's challenges with everybody, regardless of what you're diagnosed with. Everybody has challenges. So what we're really trying to key in on this year and lean into is the accomplishments of these young people. So
amazing.
We have some amazing people that are going to talk about their accomplishments. We have my son's rock band, which he thinks is like, he thinks he's going on tour, by the way, after this.
I can't wait to hear him play.
Well, here's the bad thing. Okay, so I'm going to get this opinion from two moms that I'm sitting in front of.
Okay.
So I had T-shirts printed off, and their name is called The Snakes.
Okay.
And so I had to do the art because it had to be redone. I get it. Get the art. Get the T-shirts made. Take them into the school, and the teacher says, "Oh my gosh, that's very phallic."
Oh shoot!
You guys. I can't unsee it now. So I'm like, do I have them wear the T-shirts? Do I not? Should I worry about this? Should I not?
I have to take a look at it.
Okay, I might have to show you a little bit later. But I'm really struggling with this. I'm like, I didn't like my head.
Wear the shirt.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to see it too. I'm with you, Angela, but
right?
Wear the shirt.
I mean, if I didn't see it when I designed it,
right.
do you think most people are going to notice?
I mean, maybe, but who cares?
I don't know that anybody's going to be paying that much attention.
I mean,
either.
I was floored and I was so upset. And I'm like, oh my God, do I get them? I don't have time to get them remade. So it's been, that was kind of my hiccup of the week. I'm like, oh no, really?
Yeah, that's like something out of left field, but like you don't
totally.
Totally.
So it was, I know it's so like, gosh, first world issues, but man, I was like, dang it. I thought I was doing so good. And then this happens. So speaking of being thrown curveballs, we have a really cool guest on today who I'm super, super stoked to talk to. She is one of the smartest women we know. We've had the pleasure of having one of her children has interned for us for 2 years. So we do know we have deep understanding of this family dynamic and admiration for what they do, what they think, how they work, how they live. And we're really excited to welcome our guest,
Kim Adams.
Woohoo!
Welcome, Kim.
Thanks,
How
guys.
are you?
I'm great. I'm glad that it took doing a show with you to catch up with you, girl.
I know. It's been so nice. I actually sat out in the lobby and talked for like 15 minutes. She's probably exhausted by me already.
Well, no, it's like when then we have those conversations and we could talk for hours.
Yeah,
and hours.
100%. So tell Angela, why don't you introduce Kim and all of her accolades? And she's got it all. Like,
well, Kim
does it all.
Kim is a powerhouse and has owned her business, had owned her Pilates business and still does for how many years now?
26 years.
26 years. So she gets it from the founder's perspective of getting a business started, how to continue to keep the momentum going, bringing on new clients, etc.
Yeah. Well, and this is not just any business.
No,
this business is she's a holistic coach, a Pilates instructor, certified. And she works with high performance individuals. So we're talking athletes, CEOs, that level. So she's not working with just like me, who's like, I cheated everything. Yeah. She is working with people who, the fitness and the wellness is just one piece of their
Right.
performance measurements. So
And we'll
kind of
talk
like-
about how that's changed too.
Yeah.
Even like not even just my business, but like my approach to
Okay.
Yeah.
Love
Things like
that.
Well,
that,
and
yeah.
why don't you kind of explain a little bit more about that part of it? So that because you can explain it 10 times better than I can.
So Pilates for Pros started as, just a Pilates business. I was training in my house at first, or I was training in a studio at first, then took it to my house to whatever. I got started with athletes very early on. And now I'm solely athletes. I work with, a handful of professional athletes at a time because I'm doing other things that we're going to talk about too.
Exactly.
So I've pivoted a little bit, but over the 26 years, it kind of just naturally went in that direction. It was really exciting to me to be able to work with elite athletes because I was never an elite athlete. So I'm a competitive person, and to be able to work with like super competitive people and be a small part of their winning was just really cool.
Mhm.
So it was kind of, intoxicating a little bit.
I did see your post from earlier this week from the men's hockey
Yes.
USA
So-
men's hockey with the
Well, and I
Kachuk
haven't done
brother.
my second post yet,
Okay.
which because I'm been not great on social media, but I was telling Lisa, we were talking about imposter syndrome.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm watching the Winter Olympics, and I have 3 clients currently, like just gold medal and
Amazing.
silver
Gold medal,
medal.
silver
Yeah,
medal.
2
That's-
gold medalists and a
Uh-huh.
silver medalist.
It's
Yeah.
so incredible.
Yeah.
That's so
That's
awesome.
And I'm like, that's just wild.
Yeah.
So it's just a connection to something so big
Mhm.
that I get to be a small part of.
Yeah.
That's
I love
amazing.
that.
That's
I love that.
amazing.
Yeah.
So
So
good.
Kim is like, so beyond Pilates for Pros, she is a luxury real estate agent.
Mhm.
She is managing the entertainment and music piece of her real estate business.
Entertainment and sports, yeah.
Entertainment and
Mhm.
sports part of the business, which we know is big with relocation, with really kind of coming into St. Louis.
Yep.
This is what she specializes in. But let's go back to the beginning, because this is the story that I was like completely floored by. As I'm reading her bio, I didn't know that she worked on the Chicago trade floor.
Yes, I did.
Chicago
That
Board of
was-
Trade. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is after I was, talking through this. My best friend, my childhood best friend's in town, got in town last night, and we were
Uh-huh.
kind of talking through some of these things. And I majored in psychology in college,
Uh-huh.
specifically because I did not want to take math.
Mhm.
And then I ended up working in math. Like my whole job was
Nuts.
fast math, like the
Nuts.
fastest, most important math you
Right.
could do.
Uh-huh.
Right.
So I worked on the grain floor at the
Uh-huh.
Chicago Board of Trade. It was the most fun job I've ever had. I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
It was 9 a.m. to 1:15. I would head to, I grew up in Chicago, lived in
Mhm.
Chicago,
Yeah,
would
yeah.
head to East Bank Club after.
Yep.
I mean, it was the
It's
life.
The life.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was the best life, like in,
So fun.
late 90s. It was,
Well, so let's kind of give the full picture for people. So it's downtown Chicago.
Mhm,
It's fast. In the 90s, it was even faster.
mhm.
Mhm.
You're getting up, you're on the trade floor by what, 7, 6,
Not even 9.
9?
Okay.
Oh, so
Yeah.
they didn't open until 9?
Mm-mm. No,
Okay.
the grain floor was
Grain floor.
9. Was
Okay.
it 9 or 9:30? And it was over at 1:15. It might have been 9:30 to 1:15. It was
Okay.
great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It was, and when it was fast, it was fast. And
Yeah.
when it was slow, it was slow. But for the most part, for that period of time you were there, I managed a desk, and I started telling Lisa out in the lobby when we
Uh-huh.
were talking. So when I got this job, I didn't know what I wanted to do
Yeah.
after college. So I was there, and my dad was very much like, if you want an apartment downtown, a lot of my friends, like their parents bought them condos or whatever. And my dad was like, if you want to live downtown, you're gonna have to pay your rent.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, okay. So then 3 jobs later, that
Right.
being, I was working a couple different jobs. I was waitressing. I was doing all these things. I made my rent, and I was like, you know what? I'm gotta find a path here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went in. A couple of my friends are like, go work at the Board of Trade. They'll hire you.
Mhm.
You're a cute girl. They'll,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I had no experience though. And they're like,
Right.
it doesn't matter. Just tell them you worked here. Tell them you did this. So I went in, I saw, how you pull the
Yeah.
tab off of
Yeah.
like, here's a phone number,
Yeah.
call for this job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And had an interview with this guy, completely embellished. I mean, it wasn't even embellishment. It was an outright lie, pretty much, that I had this experience. He
I
hired me
love
on the
that.
spot. I showed
Uh-huh.
up the next day. About month into it, the girl who was managing the desk gets pregnant and has complications, got to go on maternity leave early. And he's
Oh my
like, "You're
gosh.
going to manage the desk." And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa."
Yeah.
I got to talk to you because
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready for this. When I interviewed, I told you, and he's like, "I'm going to stop you right there. Did you think that I didn't know that you were full of shit when you know?" And I was like, "Oh,
amazing.
okay." And he's like, "That's why I hired you." He's
We
like,
think we're so sneaky.
right. He's like, "You were so bold and you were so confident.
Yeah.
You came in." And I was like, "That's exactly what I need. And that's exactly what you need to manage the desk. So
Okay.
this is your new position." So
That's
I was,
amazing.
yeah. And I did that for a couple of years and it was so fun.
Yeah.
But talk about male dominated.
100%.
There was, I mean, aside from my boss before she left, I mean, there were handful, maybe 10
Mhm.
women that I could spot on there.
Yeah.
And then eventually just went from managing the desk to actually being in the pit and learning all the hand signals.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
ask. Did you, like,
Yeah,
use
all the
these?
hand signals.
I know, it's so
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
But that was a
Yeah.
very, very fun time in my life.
Well,
That's
and it was a different time in our world
Mhm.
which we were also just talking about, things were a little different and we had to hustle a little bit differently back
Yes.
then
Yeah.
as females in male dominated
Mhm.
industries. I think all three of us come from male dominated
Yeah.
industries. And it was literally like you had to come in like fire and
Yeah.
And you have
You'd
to
be trampled
own
if not.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really believe, and even now today, you have to own your femininity
Yes.
because it brings a side of, and I'm not the most feminine woman. Like I think I have a lot of masculine qualities in
Same.
like, business and personality. But
Yeah.
I think when you can be unapologetically a woman, you
Mhm.
bring something to a male dominated industry, whether it's the board of trade or sports,
Mhm.
that doesn't really exist there.
Right.
So it's different.
Right.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden you're bringing something different, and it, maybe you can't name it or can't put your finger on it, but it's a different energy
Yeah.
than exists there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that, let's face it, I'm sorry for any men that are listening right now, but you need us. You
Right.
need us. You need us to soften it a little bit. You need us to kind of point out the times when it's like, okay, this is a little bit elevated. Let's pull it down a little bit.
Balance.
A little balance.
Yeah.
A little balance.
The yin and the yang. Yeah.
So how long did you spend on the floor?
That was about 2 years.
Okay.
And then I only left there because I moved here.
Yeah.
And I moved here to get married. It was my college
Love that.
boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I put it off because I didn't want to, I loved my city life and I really didn't want to give it up.
Yeah.
And when I moved here, what I loved about the trading floor, I had these contacts, and Earth Grains is a big, do they even still exist? I don't even know.
That I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, they were a big company. They were one of our clients. And they
Right.
were like, if you're moving to St. Louis, we're based out of St. Louis, we'll hire you.
Oh my gosh.
And I
that's
went and I
amazing.
interviewed and I was like, wait, I don't want to buy wheat to
Yeah.
take delivery of wheat to make bread. I want to buy wheat and 30 seconds later, I want to sell it and it
Right.
made $200,000 for our
Right.
clients.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was, I didn't go that direction. And that's when I ended up going into finance and working for Oppenheimer, getting my Series 7. And
Yeah.
Which is so, again,
Yeah.
so flipping impressive.
I still can't believe I did that. That's the
that
hardest
is-
test
oh
I've
my
ever
God.
taken in my
Oh my
life.
I like cringe even thinking about it. Like it makes my palms sweat.
Yeah.
So, and talk about somebody who didn't like math,
Mhm.
was not on that path, and
No.
just took it and took the bull by the horn, so to speak. So impressive. Well done.
It sounds like a lot of your, at least to this point of your career that we're talking about, was guided by instinct
Mhm.
too. It
I
seems
love
very
that.
much
Very
like
much
having
instinct.
like a very like secure, confident feeling about yourself that can allow you to make these.
You can call it confidence, you can call it delusion, like whatever you I mean, I think most of the people that I know that are successful, that have been successful, especially people that have like started their own businesses or done something really out of the box,
Mhm.
I think you have to have like a healthy dose of delusion that
Mhm.
you can do whatever you want.
Mhm.
And I've always believed that. I still believe that.
Yeah.
That if you believe it, if you can
Yeah,
visualize
you
it,
manifest it.
you can manifest
Mhm.
it. I'm the older I get, the more spiritual I am.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure you guys have had this conversation with my daughter too.
I think that it's so interesting because I don't think young people get it as much as with age comes wisdom, right?
Yes.
And I'm on this whole journey right now where I'm really trying to understand what fills my cup. And that's it's a practice, and you do have to really dig deep and think about those things and manifest the things you want instead of waiting for it to just come to you. Like you have to make it happen. It's part of your responsibility.
Yeah.
And this stuff, you talk about being guided by your intuition, but the reality is a lot of those successes came after feeling lost, right?
Mhm.
So the board of trade job came after I was working 3 jobs. I had started a master's program in education, which is absolutely
Oh my
not.
God.
I mean,
Yeah.
I did 1 quarter at, National Lewis and I'm like, I don't even like kids. What am I doing?
Same. So I thought I was going to be a teacher.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I don't want kids. Why
I
am
don't
I
even
going to
know-
be a teacher? Like that's
I don't even know
ridiculous.
how I got there. Like literally that was like one of those moments
Yeah.
where I don't even know how I ended up there.
Yeah.
And the redirection of, having 3 different jobs and, having a goal. I wanted to live in the city. That's what I wanted. And I figured out a way to do it. And I feel like my whole life, it's like, okay, I see this goal. This is what I want. And I'm just going to figure out a way to do it. And there's that delusion of, I can figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm going to try through
But
trial and error. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love that because I do think that's a lost art in this day and age.
I
I do think that I love the younger generation.
Yes,
I have
yes.
several or a couple of them.
Several of them.
Several of them. But like
Old lady
I
in the
do
shoe.
feel like and I don't know if it's been like our own parenting that's kept them from trying to
little
go
bit.
for but
I think a little bit.
A little
it is
bit.
our fault.
I think it's a little bit our fault.
Yeah.
But I don't. But it's that it's almost like they can only see what's like right in front of them
Yes.
and not
Mhm.
see what's further down
Yeah.
the road.
Yeah. Or to your point earlier, it's the being able to be lost and find your way and
Mhm.
recognize that you're
I
finding
think that's
your
our
way.
problem.
Yeah.
We don't let them get
We don't
lost.
let them get
Correct.
lost.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And our parents, I was having this conversation literally with my best friend last
Mhm.
night about how we were on our own.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
We were your
parents
parents were
had
like, go
no-
entertain
Yes.
yourself,
Yep.
go do whatever,
Girls, I was out on the streets from like the minute my parents could push me out the door until it was dark.
Yeah.
My parents had no idea what we were doing or where we were at or
We
what was
were laughing
happening.
about it last night because we were saying, okay, don't go on the bike trail. You
Yeah.
might get kidnapped or
Yeah.
murdered.
Uh-huh.
Don't do that. And
Yes.
like all the
Yes.
horrible things that could happen to you. But by the way, we're not going to be home till
Yes,
10. So
exactly.
figure it out.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
and there was no Uber
So
Eats.
nuts.
So it was
Yes.
like, there was no Uber. So
Yeah.
we were talking about how you had to negotiate like, okay, well, who's got an older sibling that can drive us here or
Yes.
do
Yeah.
whatever. Our kids
Problem
don't
solving.
problem solving.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes.
It's like the lost art of problem solving.
Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh, you
Yeah.
guys. And I know, believe me, they have skills that I don't have. There's no question about that. But I struggle with this all the time with my youngest because I'm like, gosh, where are your street smarts? Like,
Right.
I had street
They weren't
smarts
on
at
the
your age.
street.
Yeah. And that's it.
I
You
mean-
just identified
Right.
it. Like they haven't had to struggle the
Mm-mm.
way we did.
No.
They don't have those lost moments. I need to take this in.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
This is a big
Internalize
lesson.
this
We
a
just
little
taught
bit.
ourselves a little
We
bit.
just
Yeah.
taught
Lesson.
ourselves a lot. Man, my parenting's changing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you come to Missouri.
hmm
What next? What happens? So you're kind of out of the trade business. You've
Yeah.
got your Series 7. You know
So there were
kind of
two.
what to do.
There were 2 trips to Missouri.
Okay.
So there was one. There were 2 moves to Missouri. So the first move to Missouri was here. So like I said, I was engaged to like my college sweetheart.
Right.
Moved here, worked at CIBC Oppenheimer, which
Mhm.
still exists.
Right.
Most of the people I worked with are retired now, but and I didn't love it. Like I didn't. It was in the I was being like a stockbroker, right? So
Right.
I was soliciting people I knew for their money to manage it. It felt ick.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
I'm a great salesperson, but
yeah.
we were just talking about how hard money is to talk
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
But I didn't love it. And I ended up leaving St. Louis because I had a moment of, instinct,
Yeah.
you could call it, and went back to Chicago for a couple of years
Yeah.
and stayed with CIBC Oppenheimer, but they put me in a different role because I was like, hey,
Okay.
I don't want to be a stockbroker.
Right.
Like I don't want to manage my family and friends' money. That's not what I
Yeah,
want to
right.
do. So they put me in, I was trading for foreign banks. And again, this is hilarious because my daughter, who is minoring in finance right now, is like, you could never do that today, Mom. And I'm like, you know what? I think I could.
I think I could too.
I mean, you may not think I could, but I actually think that I could.
100%.
And so I held I did that for a while, which was fun and exciting. But then ultimately my last role with them, I was working with clients with high net worth. It was, 10 million and up. And I was kind of like a closer. I had a territory. And so I was not really dealing with numbers anymore. I was now kind of stepping into the element of, I know how to talk to people. I know how to communicate with people. I know how to gain people's trust. And I know how to explain things in, the smart terms, but also the layman's terms. In relatable.
Yeah.
And that was when I finally felt like the most fun that I was at the Board of Trade. I was like, oh, this is exciting. This is fun. I'm getting on a plane. I'm going to Dallas. I'm I'm meeting these people. And it was, I hate to say easy, but I wasn't doing all the legwork. I was just going in to close the
deal.
You were
closing it. Right.
And so
you were the one with the dinner budget.
Right. It was a nice dinner. And it was and I was closing the deal. And I was like, yeah, we did it. Okay. That was easy. And then I was loving that. Yeah. And then I started telling Lisa this in the lobby. And then 9/11 happened. Yeah. And I was based out of New York, even though I was working in Chicago. So our office was gone. Our payroll office was gone. Our office was gone, essentially. And it was that moment. And I was kind of, without getting into past relationships, I was talking to, my now ex-husband, but and we were kind of rekindling. Yeah. And in that moment, I was like, you know what? Maybe it's not so bad to move to St. Louis. Right. Maybe I don't want to be in the city anymore. I was living in a high rise and it felt like, okay, maybe this is just timing. Again, followed your instincts,
right.
And moved here. And that's when I left finance behind because I came here and I was like, I had already had the previous experience of knowing what it was going to be like if that was what was available to me in St. Louis. Yeah. It's like that money management. Didn't want to do that. So had the luxury of not having to have a job right away. And I was like, you know what? What am I going to do in the meantime? I'm going to go take some Pilates classes. Yeah. I've never done Pilates before. And I was doing it. And it was a love-hate relationship with Pilates. Mia's doing it right now, my daughter, and she will leave frustrated. And I'm like, that's how I was. I was like, why can't I get this? But you just keep going. And I think people that like to be challenged really like Pilates, which is, we'll talk about that. But I think that's why athletes like it. Yeah. But, and I was kind of doing her books for her, the studio owner, just helping her with that because Pilates is expensive. Yeah. And I was young and I wasn't working. And I'm like, well, let me do your books and trade a little. And it wasn't long before she was like, you should just go get certified. You should go through the training process. And
so awesome.
That's how I ended up in Pilates.
And did you have kids at this point or no?
No.
So you were still
was in 2000, just married.
Right. Just figuring it all out.
Just figuring it all out. That's really interesting. Again, it was like a moment of being a little lost and having to redirect, leaving a job behind. I was so panicked about letting that Series 7 expire because I knew I'd never take that damn test again. So I was like, am I sure that I want to step out of finance because I'm never going to do that again?
And that's so scary.
Yeah. It was really, really, I've had a couple of moments in my life. I closed my studio in during COVID, those moments of okay, this is I'm taking a step away from this and it's a pretty final step, but I'm moving into what's next.
Well, if you follow spirituality at all, which I know both of you do, there is a term for this and it's jumping timelines. Basically, you're basically saying that doesn't work for me anymore. I'm jumping into this new timeline, which is kind of that. And we're going to jump out of this timeline now for a quick break and we'll be back with Kim just after these messages.
St. Louis, meet your new daily companion, the Lou Information Station app. Listen live anywhere, anytime with one click. Dive into live or on-demand content. It's the fastest way to stay connected to the conversations that matter in the Lou. Just search Lou Information Station in the App Store or Google Play and download it free today. The Lou Information Station app. Crystal clear St. Louis talk 24/7.
Her Next Chapter with Karen Maurer, financial advisor with Trilogy Financial, is the weekly conversation that helps women financially and emotionally prepare for, move through, and thrive in life's transitions. If you're facing a turning point, whether it be reinvention, loss, or something in between, this is your place to move forward. Her Next Chapter, live on the Lou Information Station, Sunday mornings at 9, and on demand wherever you get your podcasts. Follow along and step into what matters most, your next chapter.
At Commercial Technology Solutions, we are all about solutions. We pledge that our sales staff will listen carefully to your needs and propose a solution customized to your business. Our services and tech support are second to none. When you establish your relationship with Commercial Technology Solutions, you can have confidence that your tech needs are in the hands of St. Louis's best. Contact them in Missouri at 314-421-3550, in Illinois 618-452-3550, and online at ctsphone.com.
LouInfo.com news headlines brought to you by Brown and Crouppen. GetBC.com.
With your LouInfo.com news, I'm Jared Sorello. St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer is now warning the Metropolitan Police Department's budget proposal would, quote, absolutely decimate city services. The mayor says the budget approved by the St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners yesterday includes tens of millions of dollars in additional spending beyond the city's preliminary allocation. Spencer warned the police budget would significantly hamper the city's ability to perform basic city services across the board. Hundreds packed into Pacific High School for a public hearing on a proposed data center last night, only for the meeting to be postponed. Beltline Energy reportedly requested the Planning and Zoning Commission delay the meeting as it did not have the appropriate documents to proceed. Authorities in Warren County are searching for a man who allegedly dragged a police officer with his vehicle. The Warrenton Police Department said 41-year-old Michael Caldwell accelerated while officers were trying to remove him from his vehicle during a traffic stop. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
Now, LouInfo.com weather, presented by Home Bank, member FDIC. Secure your financial future by opening a high-yield checking account today. Go to myhomebank.bank to get started.
Here's your LouInfo.com weather update. We'll be clearing up as we go through the midday and into the afternoon hours. High pressure is moving in, mid-50s on today's high. Mid-30s and clear for the overnight hours. It'll be a lot warmer on Friday. We're going up to 70 with sunshine, low 60s and maybe a shower on Saturday. Showers are likely Sunday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton for the Lou Information Station, streaming 24/7 at LouInfo.com and the free Lou Info app.
Hey, St. Louis, looking for high-flying action and electric energy? Grab your crew, hit the road, and experience a Grizzlies game night in Memphis. An unmatched atmosphere and star-studded NBA matchups are waiting for you just down the road on I-55. There's nothing like Grizz game energy, and there's nothing like being here with 19,000 new Grizz Nation friends at FedEx Forum. Dive into the action. Follow the Grizzlies on social media and visit grizzlies.com/tickets to grab your seats today. That's grizzlies.com/tickets.
Listen up, fellow timeshare owners. If you're a timeshare owner and you want out at all costs, you're done, frustrated, tired of wasting money, you don't use the darn thing. Get out now. Hire the best Bulldog timeshare cancellation team in the business. Their in-house legal team, headed by a timeshare cancellation lawyer, can help you fight the biggest and baddest companies out there that sell timeshare. At some point, you were using your timeshare, but now you're not, and you're tired of wasting money. Before you go to the poorhouse, call right now and learn how you can stop the maintenance fees and put more money back in your pocket. Their services cost you a lot less. Save a lot of money over time. Call the Timeshare Exit Hotline now. It's a free consultation.
800-824-5131. 800-824-5131. 800-824-5131. That's 800-824-5131.
Introducing the Key STL Burger Bar and Boogie, your new home in the Grand Center Arts District. The Key STL is where the music plays, the game is always on, and the dance floor is open. The Burger Bar features the ultimate smash burger experience with premium pasture-raised local beef and a dozen house-made sauces to top it all off. It's the Key STL Burger Bar and Boogie, 3225 Olive in Midtown. Before, during, or after any game, this is the spot, St. Louis. Find out more at thekeystl.com.
Back to more of Co-Found Hers with Lisa Lidbag and Angela Sandler on the Lou Information Station. Streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com.
Hey, we're back. Kind of back. There we go. Ryan.
I was just fading it out.
No, I love it. I love it. Okay, so we have a few housekeeping. So you can find us at the Lou Information Station, louinfo.com. Later on, you will also find this podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you find a podcast. If you really love us, go follow us at The Co-Found Hers on Instagram, and we will have everything posted a little later. We also have a text line. If you're listening live and you have any burning questions for us or for Kim, 314-590-3770. And last but not least, we have an app. Yes, we had to have an app. We have an app. So go to louinfo.com and download the app and listen to all the amazing programs and content that comes out from Lou Info. Now, back to Kim Adams. Back to Kim, our awesome guest. So we kind of unpacked a lot during that first piece, which is so fun. We learned a lot about your early career. Tell us about how you went from Pilates to high performance athlete training, athletics. I mean, I'm so intrigued by this. Like, what drew you to that? Because you didn't come from that.
No. Well, I've always loved sports. Like I've always loved sports and been around sports, I mean, I grew up, like we were talking about, I grew up in Highland Park. I grew up down the street from like half of the Bulls team. Like that was, I mean, I've always loved sports, been really competitive person. And one of my very, very first clients here in St. Louis was Jamal Mayers.
Oh,
when he was with the Blues.
Yeah.
And he probably is like somewhat responsible for the trajectory of my career because
he seems like such a good guy.
He is the nicest and his wife is the nicest.
I love
that.
Still in St. Louis, or did they?
They are. They're still in St. Louis.
But they moved houses.
They did.
Yeah, because they were died down the street.
Yeah. So
I didn't know.
Everybody lives down the street in St. Louis.
And being in real estate, I know who moves and where and when. And
I love that.
So
so you're training Jamal.
I'm training Jamal, and I was,
and this is back when Pilates was still kind of fresh.
It was still kind of fresh, but I feel like there were some athletes. He had done it before. He's from Toronto. He had done it with previous in his career. Had a little bit of experience, and he came in and immediately put his trust in me. And I was like, I mean, he would tell me things. I'd be like, I don't know if we should do that, and he was like, no, it's fine. And I'm like, okay. So he gave me a lot of confidence. But when I was working with him to really learn how to work with an athlete, I had some friends that were orthopedists. And I asked a lot of questions. I mean, I had the anatomy training from what I had done, but I felt like I needed more. He was just coming off of knee surgery. I was like, I really need to understand this. And then I went and I did I still think this is so wild. I was like, I need to feel this in my body. So I hadn't been ice skating probably since I was like maybe 9 years old.
Oh my gosh.
I went and I skated because I was like, I need to feel how this
and
feels
understand
in my body to know, like, okay, I know on paper what he needs to do, but I need to feel it in my body. So
did you use hockey skates or figure skates?
The first time I used figure skates, which is like embarrassing, right?
Yes.
But after that, I
different.
learned it is way different.
Yeah.
It was way different. After that, I did have a pair of hockey skates.
I love that.
But I just needed to like feel like where's the energy coming from in your body to actually skate and to, shoot a puck and to do things like that. And so I worked with him, while the whole time I was here with the Blues, a little bit when he was in Chicago. And he sent me some people. There were some other, this feels so long ago now, but it was all word of mouth.
Yeah.
And then social media came about. So there would, I would post. Some of my clients were fine with me posting. Some of my clients didn't, wanted to keep it on the down low. There's all that dynamic with the team. They don't want the team to know they're doing something outside of the team.
Right.
And so I started working with, hockey players and a couple of baseball players and football players. We had the Rams then.
Yeah.
And I then I became somewhere in the path here. When Lululemon came to town, they made me like a Lululemon ambassador.
Yeah.
and they sent me to Whistler, and I got to do
Oh
these
my gosh.
this 4 days. It's one of the most amazing things
That's
I've done. And it was with the original founder, Chip. I can't think of his last. You know who I'm talking about. And who's since been canceled. We were talking about canceling people now. And, you know, not to defend or not, there's 3 sides to every story, right?
Sure.
But he was an incredible mind, an incredible business mind. And there was another woman, Suzanne. I don't remember anyone's last name. I can't even remember. Believe I remember the first. But I had such a big like epiphany about this is where I learned about goal setting and visualization. That was like my first like dipping my toe in the waters of that stuff. I had never really kind of explored that before. And we did this whole goal setting activity, and I wrote down, it kind of got you to the root of what do you really want to do. And I wrote out this whole thing about how I want to work for a professional sports team. Like I want to be a trainer with a professional sports team.
Amazing.
And wrote it out. They made you put like a date on it, which was I was very uncomfortable with, because I was like, oh, but what if I don't? I'm a perfectionist. I'm like, what if I don't achieve that? Then I failed. But I did it, and then put it in this journal, put it away, knew that was a goal in the back of my mind. And I'm a big believer in goal setting, but I also believe you have to take the steps towards it. So as I'm working with these athletes, I would kind of put it out there to them and to the universe, like, hey, I want to work with the team. And a lot of people were like, you're never going to get hired by a professional team.
Yeah.
Like you're a girl. They're just not, they're not going to hire you. There's one, like, you know, at the time there were maybe a handful of like women trainers, and in Pilates was not something that was mainstream. So they were like, it's just, don't count on it. Just keep doing your thing with your athletes and it's fine. And I was like, no, now I want it even more, because now
her competitive spirit.
Now you told me I can't do it. So I'm going to show you that I can. So I went and I got certified. I got my certified strength and conditioning specialist through NASM, which is what all of the strength coaches with the professional teams have. So I was like, I'm going to put the letters behind my name. I'm going to, you know, show up. I'm not just, you know, Pilates girl. I worked for the Cardinals, spoiler alert, and got labeled yoga girl at one point. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to be yoga girl.
I'm not
I'm
yoga
not
girl.
this hippy dippy girl that's lighting incense in the corner. Like I'm going to change your career because I'm going to teach you things, and your body's going to hold up longer. Your career is going to be longer. You're going to perform better. You're going to feel better, all this stuff. And I was really passionate about it because I had clients and I'd seen such a difference in what it did for them in their career. And so I was moving. The moving thing was a big theme in my life, like for separate things, like moving from house to house seemed to be that jumping timeline experience for me. And when I moved, I had found this journal from my trip to Whistler, and in there, and I was like, oh, I'm coming up on the date where I said I was going to work for a professional sports team. And started putting it back out there again, got connected through one of my football players to the director of performance for the Rams, and did not think that was the first team that I was going to work for, but ended up getting hired by the Rams the month before the date in my journal.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well
done. It was why. And so from then on, I was a believer. I'm like, okay, I'm sold. I'm sold on this journaling and this
and manifesting and all the things.
And I was a big visualization. So I would, and then later on ended up getting hired by the Blues and the Cardinals. So I worked for all 3 of those teams. And I have not worked for our soccer team, but I did work when we had but I think if I put it out there, I think, you know, now I'm moving in a different direction, but I did work for the soccer team before we had the MLS team. There was another soccer team. I did work with, not that I can't remember what they were. The St.
Louis Hooligans.
No, it was like the St. Louis like soccer club.
Okay,
but like it was like a semi.
It's the original soccer club. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Do you know what I mean? Like
yes.
I don't. I'm
I
terrible because I don't know that much about soccer, which I'm just gonna admit. And I worked with them. So I did, and I had some Olympians, some people that went to the Olympics. And I just would visualize. I would drive in my car when I would go to the Blues old training facility to work with them. I would put some music on and I would literally play in my mind, like, you know, getting on the plane with the team and doing all the things that I wanted to do. And then it would happen.
Come true.
Yeah.
Wow. I believe in that.
It
really
was
do.
wild.
That
And I
is so
at the time
awesome.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was literally daydreaming.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But and there is, because I've gone down the rabbit hole of this, there is actually some scientific backing to listening to music. You could probably appreciate this. Listening to music
Yeah.
while you're doing these visualizations.
Well, it takes you to a different level of consciousness.
Mhm.
So it's really interesting. There is a lot of science behind this. And I love that that's you did it unknowingly. Like it was not with purpose.
No,
and
it was.
I think that's so cool.
I kind of think that's also why it works, because
Yeah.
if you put too much weight on something,
Yeah.
I think you almost
takes you the
repel it.
opposite way.
Yeah.
Agree.
So I think it was just kind of blindly trusting. I also think I was really passionate about what I was doing. I
Yeah.
really deep down believed I'm going to make a difference.
Yeah.
Like if I just get the chance, if I can get my foot in the door,
Yeah.
I know I can show people that I'm going to make a difference.
Yeah. I love that. That's so awesome. So you have, we could talk for hours and hours with you, but I want to get to, because you made a career change.
I made a big career
Yeah.
change.
So,
yeah.
What, why?
How'd you get into real estate?
Yeah.
So I've always been
Unpack
interested
this.
in
Yeah.
real estate. Like I joke that in in another life, I was like an interior
Yeah.
designer.
Yeah.
Like I've always loved that. I'm obsessed with looking at homes, going into homes. I've moved a lot, but the actual real reason that I got into what pushed me over the edge was I dealt with some health issues. I had my thyroid out. I had kind of a physical stuff that I was getting older, just different
Yeah.
things that were taking me away
Yeah.
from training. And I knew I wanted to slow down, keep my handful of athlete clients.
Yeah.
But I needed to do something else because
Yeah.
for a while I wasn't. And it was that feeling of being lost again.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and you had a divorce.
I had a
You
divorce.
children.
I had kids.
You were a single mom
Mm-hmm.
doing it all.
Yeah.
As usual.
And I got remarried. So
Okay.
now at this point, like I got remarried in 2019.
Okay.
And that was a chaotic life because
Yeah.
my husband
Right.
is a professional athlete, a
Mhm.
former professional athlete. Now he's in coaching. But so
Matt Adams,
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know.
and so we had not the easiest life. I mean,
Yeah.
he was gone for a good part of the year. So there was a lot of traveling. There was
But
a
you
lot of
went
back
into
and
this
forth.
understanding that, which I think is so important.
Yes.
You know, you understood his lifestyle before you even approached it, which I think makes such a great partnership.
Yes.
So
and that was,
keep
and we
going.
were
Sorry, I didn't mean
friends
to
for
interrupt.
quite a while
Yeah.
before we started dating.
Right.
So it was,
It's what makes it work.
yeah. And
Yeah.
and that you really need to have a solid foundation to kind of
Agree.
go down that path together because
Yeah.
it's not easy.
No.
It's not
Right.
easy from like logistically, but it's also not easy. Right now we're in a transition period of, going from playing to coaching, which is difficult for him. And it's, I want to be supportive, but it's just,
yeah.
Yeah. It's a lifestyle.
it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, it really is. So sorry.
During this time, Matt's still playing at the time, and I'm feeling a little bit lost. And we moved houses. And during this move, I discovered that there was a big mess up with the way our mortgage was set up. That
Okay.
we had trusted our financial advisor to handle. And in uncovering this and making it right, I discovered that our financial advisor had been stealing money from us for
God.
6 years. Yeah.
Mm.
And
Oh my
it
God.
was like the biggest, heart drop.
Holy
Like,
Yes.
I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
And I was telling Lisa, it happens to athletes all the time.
Yes.
Because you have people, you're so busy and your mind is so elsewhere that you have to have a team of people that you trust.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And athletes get taken advantage of so often
Yes.
because their mind is not there. They think they've handed it off to
They've got a
trusted
manager,
professional.
right?
Right. They've got an
trust them to
agent,
do
they've got a
it.
money man, they've got all these people
Yep.
that they trust. And I saw it happen over and over again for
Yeah.
26 years. And all of a sudden it's happening to
To
us.
you.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And I was like, and then you feel stupid
That's
because you're
just-
like,
oh, but
and I worked in finance, like all of these
Yeah.
things. And I had this moment of, what is wrong with me? How could I have missed this? How could this have happened?
yeah.
And it was a big blow to, not in the moment, but a blow to the sense of like, okay, we're not where we thought we were. Here we are thinking that we've prepared for the long run and done all of this stuff.
Right.
And
now you're back to square one.
Yeah.
Now we're like, we're not where we, we're still obviously extremely comfortable.
Right.
But in sports, you have to get to a point where you're bridging the gap.
Yeah.
And we were not set up the way that we thought we were.
Yeah.
So after almost a year,
devastating.
It feels very violating.
It's so
violating. And again, just like such a blow to like, I think of myself as somebody who's intelligent, capable, confident. And I just, it was like the rug was pulled out from under.
Yeah.
And
it's a trauma.
Trauma.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I spoke to 3 different lawyers all over the country. How am I going to recoup this? And I was in fight mode. I was like, okay, I'm ready to fight. I'm compiling all this paperwork and I'm going back 6 years and I'm pulling records and emails and going, and it was taking up my whole life.
Yeah.
And I was like,
and what a terrible place to be mentally too.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
And I finally, after the 3rd lawyer that we talked to, and without getting into all of anyone who's out there that's dealt with something like this will know, it's not that easy. Like it's easier to commit a crime than it is to right the crime.
Correct.
And because of that, I can't even say this guy's name. I can't even do anything with the risk of getting sued. Right.
Yeah.
So I made the decision in that moment that knowing what the potential outcome was and the money we were going to have to spend and the years it was going to take, I was like, I'm done. I wash my hands of this. I'm moving forward. I need to find a way to earn this money back.
Yeah.
We just need to say goodbye to it. It happened. Yeah. It's done.
Yeah.
I'm not, it's going to cost me my health and my well-being to try and get it back.
Right.
Yes.
And I'm doing it alone because Matt's playing, right? Like, so I'm serious. Like I can
And
remember
this is what your days are filled with.
filled like days and nights, and it was getting brutal.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew. I was like, okay, there's more than Pilates. I'm going to have to like go back to work, whatever. And I don't even know how it came to me, but I was like, because I sit down, I journal, right?
Yeah.
What do I love? What am I passionate about? What am I good at? And I was like, why don't I get my real estate license?
Yeah.
I've had 8 successful sales of homes that I've moved to, that I've renovated a little bit, that I've moved on from. I've done well on each one.
Yeah.
So clearly, like maybe there's a little kind of
know
natural,
what I'm doing. Yeah.
So can I learn this? Is this, can I learn what I need to learn to actually advise other people on how to do this successfully?
Yeah.
And I dove right in. I was like, as soon as once you make the decision and you're like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
Talk to a couple of people, talk to Matt, talk to Rachel, who I know they're listening right now. So I'm giving them both shouts, but, and got my close knit circle giving me like, of course you can do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then knowing exactly who to go to. I had the agent that I worked with who was a mentor of mine. I sat down with her in her living room and said, can I do this? And she's like, 100% you could do this. And she introduced me to Andy Dielman, who's the broker at Dielman Sotheby's, which is where I am. And everyone, I was just from the get-go were like, oh, you're a natural.
Yeah.
Just get your license. And I got my license in record speed. And
why am I not surprised?
I know. And then I hit the ground running. And my very first listing was a $2 million historic mansion known as the Nabisco Mansion in the Central West End. And I was like, this is how we're doing it. Yeah. This is how we're going to.
I think I remember seeing that listing too. You did like a really cool video for it. It was really cool.
And we did an event there. I co-listed it with another agent who brought me on, which is how I got to, to do it. But again, it's relationship building. So I went right in and I surrounded myself with people whose businesses I wanted to emulate.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, they're doing it right. I want to learn from them. And she brought me on to the listing and I had some out of the box ideas. We were the 3rd agents on this house that had they'd been trying to sell it for years.
Right.
And we hosted this event. I'm sure I invited you guys to it. And it was really, really cool. It was, this, it was built in 1896, I think. And we had a cellist on this landing, which was built for music. It was kind of like this, I forget what it's called, but it's this dome. So it's like acoustically correct. And it literally felt like you were walking into, I don't know why I say the Titanic, but like, that scene where they're playing it. It was magical. An experience. Right. So like and that's from that first listing, I was like, that's what's going to set me apart is I want this to be an experience. Like when you're buying a home or you're selling a home, you're buying or selling an experience. Right. So it's not like you have to get people to feel something and have it like an emotional connection to it.
Yeah.
It's an energy you feel.
Yeah.
And we were able to successfully sell the house for, again, everyone's like, you're never going to get that price for it. So we were able to successfully sell it for more than expected.
That's awesome.
And I just knew from that moment on, I love it.
Yeah.
Like and I get to go into strangers' houses and just like see
which
all
is
these.
kind of this weird like fascination.
And
Yeah,
I also, it along the lines of like that other life, I'm living parallel timeline of being like an interior designer. I'm also like a private investigator. So like if you ever need to know anything about anyone, I'm your girl.
Oh.
I go deep dive. And it's really, really an important skill to have in real estate because you really need to understand people and learn a lot about people to do this job well. And so that's,
I love that so much. We have 2 minutes left, guys. And I think we could go for like another 20 minutes, 20 hours. I love that you took that risk and you're owning it. Like what you're doing to market your properties too is unlike anybody else I've seen, which is what's so cool. It's like, if I'm selling a luxury real estate, you're my girl because you know how to speak to people. And I think that your psychology background probably has a little bit to do with
it. It has
that.
a lot to do with it because there's a lot of psychology. Like the buyers that I'm working with right now, like the more I can understand them, the more I truly am like a trusted inner circle advisor. Like I don't want to just open people. That's not fun for me.
Yeah.
So doing this the way that I do it is what makes it fulfilling. And everything that I've done in my life that was successful, whether it was like finance or Pilates with athletes, it's all relationship building and it's all based on trust.
Yeah.
And it's like that human connection that we were also talking about that's kind of missing from the world right now.
100%.
So having there's a human component to all of this. It's not an exact science. And so I think
it's so personal.
You explained it really, really well. And I do think that kind of that human component can be hard to explain. And I love the fact that as much as it's human to do that, you're also tapping into the intuition and all the other background stuff that is sometimes hard to define what that is or what it's called.
Right.
And you've really taken and carved all these different experiences together.
So
you make it what you're good at.
Are you going to ride this into the sunset?
To be determined.
Yeah.
I mean, for now, it feels like I like to live with like purpose and I wake up every morning with a purpose.
Yeah.
And it's very fulfilling to help people find their home, help people sell their home. And it's always, with transitions. Sometimes it's really happy. Sometimes it's a divorce. Sometimes it's a death.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a new job. It's a new blues player coming to town that needs to find their house. But for now,
I love that. I love that. So if people want to get a hold of you to sell their property, how do they reach you?
They can reach. So I have social media. So I have 2 Instagram accounts. I have Home with Kim Adams is my real estate page. And then I have Pilates for Pros.
Right.
And Home with Kim Adams has my contact information there. I'm at Dealman Sotheby's. So I'm also on the Sotheby's website there. I'm actually, because my name is Adams, I'm first on the list. So I'm not hard to find, which, the competitive of me is like,
thanks, Matt.
I'm first. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
For my new last name. And
I love that. I love that. This has been such a fun conversation, and I really
do we need to do a wellness part 2.
I feel like we should.
Let's do it. Let's get a schedule.
All right, we're gonna do it. We're gonna bring Kim back to talk wellness. Because we didn't even get to talk about how she keeps herself sane and beautiful and amazing. So we're gonna reach back out, see you guys, talk to you guys next week. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Have a
Thanks,
good week.
Kim.
Bye.